and gentlemen, prepare for a thrill. We have stories of the dead coming back
to life to tales of the
night evil.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
The All-American Spookshow.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the All-American Spook Show podcast. As always, I'm Josh, and I'm joined here with my friend Will.
What's up?
And the professor himself, Smoke.
Hey, hey.
And today we have come to celebrate Thanksgiving, or something like that. Is this movie even dead? Are we dead sure that this movie even has anything to do with Thanksgiving?
It had a turkey, damn it.
It is a turkey. They mentioned something on that radio, and the radio announcer says something about Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this is more of a Thanksgiving movie than that birthday. Was it Bloody Birthday? Remember, there's Bloody New Year, rather. Bloody New Year, I think it is. Mm-hmm. It's like absolutely nothing to do with New Year.
Took place June 5th. It was a weird name.
Yeah, from some of the stuff that I read about, like, not necessarily in particular this one, but just Thanksgiving movies or horror movies in particular. I think there's basically this. What is that other one? Bloody Rage or something like that? Isn't that the name of it?
Blood Rage? Yeah, that's actually a bit more Thanksgiving themed. Yeah.
There's basically this movie, Home Sweet Home, which, by the way, I didn't mention. That's what we're going to talk about today. Blood Rage, and then there's the trailer for Thanksgiving in the in Grindhouse. You know, Tarantino and Rodriguez's Grindhouse. They made the fake trailer for Thanksgiving. That's pretty much it. So
you might be able to stretch out. No, it has nothing to do with Thanksgiving. You might be able to stretch out Troma's poultry, guys. I mean, there's birds.
Yeah.
No.
Isn't there one called Thanksgiving or something like that?
Yeah, there's Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it was more specific to slashers. Maybe that's what it was. Like, there's basically two movies in a trailer that are like slashers for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
There's not that many more is the point here. As further along down the road here, we go year by year, then we'll have to really be scratching the barrel in a few years to find anything to do with Thanksgiving to do for the show for Thanksgiving.
Like I said, even this one is really scraping the bottom of the barrel for that Thanksgiving theme there, because it's not even really Thanksgiving themed. I mean, it is on Thanksgiving, kind of.
So what you're saying is this is phony.
Yeah, we're all phonies.
Right. Well, this podcast is over. I'm done.
I'll not be a party to phonyism. If that's the case, then you should
crass commercialism of I think it does it even I mentioned it. I can't even remember. I got it somewhere on there, but I can't even remember if the synopsis on the back of the VHS case mentions Thanksgiving or not.
I think it does, if I'm not mistaken, because I think I saw like a picture of it or something, of the VHS case or something, because
Oh yeah.
There's a few things we'll get into, but about the background of the release of this movie. But I think it did mention something about Thanksgiving, like he's coming to ruin their Thanksgiving dinner or something like that. But yeah, so I guess before we go any further, if you wanted to contact us, email us, get in touch with us about the show, questions, comments, whatever, you can email us at allamericanspookshow@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at @AASpookshow. Of course, you can find us, search for All American Spook Show on Instagram, Facebook. We have a YouTube channel where we put up full episodes, and we just went through our top 13 favorite horror films back, leading us up to Halloween. So if you didn't check that out, you can go on our YouTube channel, find us All American Spook Show, and you can go watch our all three of our own personal top 13 favorite horror movies. We had a pretty good reception with that. And you can also go over to tpublic.com and search for All American Spook Show and buy some logoed merchandise, shirts, hoodies, mugs, pillows, whatever they put the logo on. You can find it there. Since it's been we had a little bit of break after Halloween and everything. What you guys been up to since we last spoke?
Not much.
All right, smoke it. Did you guys? I know you did. Smoke. Did you get a chance to see The Mandalorian on the new Disney Plus service?
I've seen the first episode because I think they've got a second episode up now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen the first episode.
Yeah, they had just put that up like previous to us recording this episode. So
okay.
The first two are out, and I think it's going to be like every Friday. Up a little bit past Christmas. I think maybe up until the New Year's. There'll be new episodes each week.
Yeah, I'm been excited for it. It was good. I liked the first episode.
Since I'll mention this before we go any further, we are a spoiler-filled podcast. We'll go in and out of maybe not everything that we talk about, but specifically about the movie that we choose to talk about, we will spoil it. So, if you don't want anything to be spoiled, I'd stop listening, hit pause, come back, go watch the movie, maybe go check out The Mandalorian or something, because we're probably going to talk about that a little bit. So that's just a fair warning before we continue. What did you guys...
But I say with this movie, it's okay. You can just go ahead
spoiling.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just keep listening.
Yeah, there's a few, there's a few killings. The maniacal PCP guy who laughs as he's killing people.
The end. That's it. That's
folks.
All right, so next week we're going to be
that'll
watching...
wrap it up for...
Be sure to join us next time where we're going to just have a pistol sitting on a table and we're going to spin it and see how that goes. So,
by the way, it's an automatic, so...
Since we established that we all watched at least the first episode of The Mandalorian, what did you guys think?
I loved it. I've actually seen both episodes. They're both really good, man. This one, unlike the movie that we had to watch this week, The Mandalorian really, I don't know. I feel it captures like the A New Hope. Like the first Star Wars movie. It captured everything that I felt like the original movie, tried to get across, like the feel, the world set up. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great.
I agree that on a lot of levels, probably only since Episode 4, A New Hope, has this really felt like a space western to me. That's
true. Yeah,
that's what it feels like its original intent.
Even some of the music themes, cues played into that western sound.
Oh, absolutely. I can't think of the guy that composed the music for that, but he did a great job with it. I mean, it feels western like you said, but it feels Star Wars too at the same time.
Yeah.
Without it being directly music lifted straight from the Star Wars films, it sounds like Star Wars. It comes together well and it fits perfectly. What did you think of the little twist at the end of the first episode?
Oh, that was pretty cute. That's all you can. It's almost all you can say.
But you never saw Baby Yoda coming. Oops, sorry.
Oh, spoiler! No.
What the? Like we said, we're spoiler filled, so we gave you fair warning.
Yeah. I know. I was kidding. We already put that out there.
Yeah.
By the way, the composer is Ludwig Göransson.
Well, he did a great job with it for sure. So props to Mr. Ludwig. Yeah, it seems like we'll see where they go with the story, but it's definitely a merchandising opportunity, if nothing else, right? With the now they can just start selling Baby Yodas. Now I had to, I watched it a couple times, and I watched it once with my wife, and she was just straight up like, "That's Baby Yoda." I'm like, no, then I had to explain the timeline of where this falls, and I don't know if they directly, I don't think they directly say when this is, but from what I understand, it's supposed to be 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So it's definitely, if you're listening to this and you've watched that, it's definitely not like taking place years before you would have seen Yoda. That's not Yoda. That's another baby.
Because that would have been like 800 years before.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a baby of his species, which that species has never been name tagged or whatever. They've never said Yoda is a blank. Like Chewbacca is a Wookiee, Yoda is a blank.
Yeah. Which that's what I thought was really cool about. Like, okay, are we going to get some kind of background on what Yoda is?
I'd have to say you're going to get a little bit just by osmosis. In a way. I mean, because that's the other thing too. They said that this thing's 50 years old, right? So
yeah.
That means it would have been around
10 to 15 years before the first prequel.
Yeah, so this thing's been alive for a long time. It's been around this whole time, during the first 6 movies, right? So.
Yep. Yeah, and there's always the possibility that it is Baby Yoda, just a clone of him.
True. Yeah. Yep.
Because the guy in the first episode that runs in on the Mandalorian when he's in the room with all the Imperial people, the symbol that's on his shoulder is the same symbol that I believe the clones had on Kamino in Attack of the Clones.
Ah.
So if you're just joining us, we're the All-American Star Wars podcast, catching you up on the deep cuts of The Mandalorian. No, I think this is something that would interest even a lot of the fans that listen, horror fans and stuff. This kind of stuff crosses over. I think everybody enjoys, or not, maybe not everybody, but most people enjoy Star Wars, and I couldn't recommend this show enough. I mean, like Willie, I've seen the second episode, and I think it gets better. I think it's just as good, if not better, than the first episode. So I'm looking forward to see what how this moves along here throughout the rest of the year. I'm really digging it. Now on to something.
I'm also looking forward to seeing some other stuff on that Disney thing too, because I got to catch up on all the animated Star Wars shows. So.
Yeah, definitely don't need to go down this road, but dude, I've went through and like looked up like all these like old movies. Like I sat down and watched Flight of the Navigator again.
Mm-hmm. Man, I haven't seen that in 30 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
If you loved it when you were 5 years old, you're still gonna love it.
Yeah, and I did. I was probably about 6, 7, 8 years old when I watched it, and I loved it. So, it's been a long time. It's probably been since the late 80s, early 90s since I watched it for real. It's been a long time. I remember when they used to show it like on, what was that on Sunday nights on ABC? It was like A Magical World of Disney, something like that.
Yeah, Wonderful World of Disney.
Yeah, something like, yeah. I remember when they used to show it on there a few times. I used to love that movie.
Do we really have to talk about this movie?
Yeah. It almost sounds like we're avoiding talking about Home Sweet Home here so far.
Look, let's just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. We'll knock it out. I don't think this is going to take very long.
All right, yeah, I don't think so either. So, with that being said, like we said, today we're going to be watching Home Sweet Home from 1981. Okay, so before we go into the background and the ins and outs like we normally do, obviously this is the first time you've seen this, Will, so what were your initial reactions to it?
Wow. Wow.
That good,
huh? It's interesting, all right.
It's a movie.
Smoke, how about you?
That'd be awesome if on the cover of Home Sweet Home it says it's a movie. Willie.
It's a movie.
Could you have an emoji?
We
can do an emoji shrug or something.
Yeah.
By the way, when this movie came out, I was 2 years old. So it's just impressive that I'm making sentences.
Smoke, you said this is not the first time you saw it, so maybe back when you first saw it to now, what were your initial reactions?
Oh, it's about the same as what I remember the first time I saw it. I rented it back in the day on VHS, and I mean, actually, I probably enjoyed it more this time around somewhat than at least as an entertaining. Because the first time I watched it, I'd seen a lot of slasher movies, but of course they were like Friday the 13th and Halloween and Maniac, etc., and all that. So you rent this supposedly Thanksgiving slasher film expecting another holiday slasher like Halloween or something like that, and you definitely don't get that. So yeah, I was extremely let down the first time I saw it. So I knew what to expect when I watched it this time around, but it's been since probably 1990 or 89 or so the last time I saw that. So watching it this time, at least, I knew what I was in for.
You mean it didn't age well? Like it didn't get better 30 years later after you watched it?
No, it definitely didn't get better, but at least I didn't have that initial disappointment of what it was,
True.
So I knew what I was getting into this time around watching. I knew what was going to come as far as the guy playing the killer, his entertainment value there, I guess, as far as that was concerned. But no, it's definitely not a good movie. And it didn't. Seeing it the second time didn't. Definitely didn't make it shine any brighter.
Myself, I'm going to have to pull a Will here. Like, not only had I never seen it, but I don't think I ever even heard of it. So this is completely fresh for me. My initial reactions were, I wish I had still never heard of it, had never still heard of it, and still hadn't seen it. But
I really feel like we should just go ahead and fast forward to the grading of this.
Oh, we'll get there. Just calm down, brother. We will get there.
Let's get to the good stuff.
Yeah, there is no good stuff here. I guess the good stuff will be when we're talking.
There's a few things you can glean from it if you're like a trash movie connoisseur, I guess.
I guess
a couple of scenes here and there, not like overall like where you could like say something like Street Trash or something where it's very entertaining all the way through. There's like a couple of moments in this movie.
How dare you even?
Else is like, what the fuck?
How dare you even compare this to Street Trash, you son of a bitch?
No.
If you consider Street Trash highbrow cinema, then wait till you see this.
Yeah. God. All right, so with that being said, we'll go into the little background here. You know, a few things I could dig up on it. So it was released in 1981. Now, maybe you guys found it. I couldn't. I don't think this film was ever released in theaters. If it was a very brief run in 2 theaters in the Chicagoland area or something, because I couldn't see where it was actually released. I couldn't find a budget, and I couldn't find how much this movie made. So I don't think it was ever released, like in the
It was. I found it was released in a bunch of home theaters.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. It was released to 2 descrambled satellites in 1981.
It had lackluster watching, so.
So yeah, I guess neither of you found it either. So yeah, best I can tell, it never got a theatrical run. I'm guessing it was released released straight to VHS.
Yeah. I think you had said this kind of, off the recording, but I tried to go and do a little research and try to search it a couple different ways. Jesus Christ, man! Plenty of people talking about it, but it's just opinions everywhere. There's no hard facts anywhere.
Yeah, not much. It really was a struggle on this one to find out anything, beyond who was in it and what they had done in the past. But as far as this movie is concerned, not a lot.
I mean, I know it was made by some people. It was made, of course, the director.
Well, yeah, I have some of that information, but I have some of that information. But here's the other thing that's even sketchier. It was released once again, 1981, by Movies Anonymous Partnership and an Intercontinental Releasing Corp. I mean, was this like a straight up mafia release here? I mean, what the? It just sounds like a shell corporation that just, hey, let's make a movie. Hey, fuck it, here you go.
Let's make a movie, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, man. It's total runtime is 1 hour and 25 minutes, and I'm sure that's probably a few minutes of credits, I guess, at the end.
It's 1 hour and 25 minutes, but it feels like 3 hours.
Yeah. You would think an hour and 25, that's not too bad. Then, once again, you need to pause this and go watch it, because that's a long hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah, I swear, I didn't know how long this movie was when we first started watching it, but I looked at how much time was left on it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? There's still 45 minutes left of this movie. It feels like I've been watching it for an hour
I think I was about the same way. I'm like, God almighty, this movie's dragging. How much surely there's only 15 minutes. What the hell, 40 minutes?
Well, it gets bad whenever they I know we haven't got into the play-by-play yet, but it gets pretty bad when the entire credit sequence is just stretching out the movie time, showing, riding around the freeway and stuff and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then there's scenes of just people walking aimlessly that you didn't need that scene in there unless you're just padding the running time.
Yeah. You're taking
there's a whole bunch of padding of running time.
They're making
just to make that 125.
They're making 30 minutes of script into an hour and 25 minutes.
I'm sure, at some point something will come out about this. And at the end of the day, I guarantee you it's a student film that had to be 84 minutes long.
Yeah.
So they made it 85.
Mm-hmm. Best I could tell, once again, details are sketchy, but it was also known as Slasher in the House and Blood Party, which either one of those names I feel would have been better than Home Sweet Home.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
definitely would have. And by the way, that Slasher in the House one, I remember the VHS of that one too. And if you look at, I'll have to post the VHS cover on our Facebook page and whatnot, but of Home Sweet Home. If you look at that Home Sweet Home VHS cover, and I think it's the poster as well, but there's a house on there where it's got the guy with he's got holding the knife. All you see is a hand with a bloody knife, and there's a house in the distance. If you zoom in on that house, that's what the Slasher in the House VHS cover is. It's like they just took that little house and made that the full-size VHS cover for Slasher.
I thought you were going to say, on your VHS copy, you can peel the sticker off and it says Slasher in the House up underneath it. Hey, what the hell? They just put a piece of duct tape and wrote Home Sweet Home on the front of this.
It would have been better than his Home Sweet Home tattoo on the guy's hand. I know.
Yeah, what the... When I saw that, I was really hoping that was like the title screen. They were going to zoom in on his hand, Home Sweet Home. But no, no, they just ignored it.
Nope. There is actually a much better title screen than that. Thankfully, that came along. That might be the best scene in the movie.
Okay, so there was a VHS release. Once again, Smoke, you own a copy of it, right?
That was Media Home Entertainment.
Yeah.
The original VHS copy, and then
best
I don't know who put that Slasher in the House version out. That came later.
Best I can tell, there was a DVD release, maybe in another country or something like that, but it's just basically it's a bootleg of the VHS. It's just a dub of the VHS, so there's no like proper DVD release.
No, still hasn't been, surprisingly, or not surprisingly.
Well, I don't know about there. You should stand corrected on everything you say about this.
There is, no matter how shitty this movie is, there is somewhat of a following for it, which is still surprising to me that in this day and age of cult horror movies now that somebody hasn't picked it up. So it must be something to do with who owns the rights to it, and they haven't been able to get it from whoever that is.
I'm sure, but in one of the review articles that I was reading about this, they said something about like that they were talking about like just the fact that there's not a lot of slasher Thanksgiving movies, and they said that Blood Rage got like a proper Blu-ray release, where they painstakingly went in and fixed it and everything, and nobody's even bothered to put this thing on DVD. So there's an actual,
and it is a much better movie. Blood Rage is a much better movie than Home Sweet Home by a long shot.
I'm sure that we'll get there one of these Thanksgivings. We should hold off as long as we can, since that's probably the best one.
We got to milk it. We got to milk these Thanksgiving ones.
Yeah. There's not many. So this movie is available on YouTube, which is actually how I watched it, because that's pretty much the only way I could find it. I didn't see it on any streaming service, and I wasn't going to go hunting around to buy a copy of it, on DVD or on VHS. So that's how I watched it. And I'll link the. I'll put the link to the movie, the whole movie on which is on YouTube, to the show notes, on the bottom of the podcast there. So if you want to go check it out, the whole movie is on YouTube. All right, so it was directed and edited by Nidhi Pena, who also was the the editor of Dracula Sucks.
Porno Dracula flick.
I don't think. Beyond this, though, I don't think she had done much else, really. I mean, she's worked on a handful of things, but, I think also this is kind of, she's actually one of the few female directors of a slasher film, too. I think there's a little bit of historical context with this one for that, at least for that much.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, that's 81 is still pretty early on in the slasher cycle for sure. I mean,
yeah.
Friday the 13th, I think, is the one that, of course, Halloween was the one that kind of started all, but Friday the 13th is the one that really opened the floodgates, and that was only 1 year prior.
Yeah.
1980.
It was written by Thomas Bush, he was actually the assistant sound editor in Evil Dead 2. And this film is actually a memory of him as well. So I couldn't find anything on that, I just remember seeing something in the credits that said this film was in memory of Thomas Bush, so I'm assuming that means he must have died pre-release or something. I just couldn't find much about him. It was produced by Don Edmonds, who also plays Harold, who's the dad in the movie, the older guy. He was the director of Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS.
Yes, that's some history right there. In the grindhouse exploitation movies, that guy Don Edmonds only directed a handful of movies, 10 movies or something.
Yeah.
But that one is an important one to grindhouse movies for sure.
And he actually passed away in May of 2009, and he was 71 years old. So he's no longer with us. He passed away about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. All right, so this movie stars Jake Steinfeld as Jay Jones. He's the lead killer here in the movie, who most would remember him as the exercise guru of Body by Jake. And he had a sitcom in the early 90s called Big Brother Jake, which I think was on the Family Channel or something like that. So yeah, apparently I saw something too briefly that he doesn't have much of a sense of humor when it comes to this movie either. I guess people have asked him about it or something like that, and he just basically, tells them to go take a long walk off a short pier or something. He didn't really want to talk about it.
Or he just sits there and laughs at him.
Yeah, just
how would he laugh if he laughs?
Or does he moan? He's like,
The dude's like a walking.
I gotta shoot some PCP under my tongue.
He's like a walking Scooby-Doo sound effect villain.
Speaking of Scooby-Doo, this movie is kind of basically probably not this one, but once we get to it, I'll wait till we get to it.
Okay.
The point where we were talking about Don Edmonds in another movie. Popped into my mind, but I'll talk to it whenever we get to the dude with the guitar and the face paint.
That's what we call a tease, folks. Save your gold nuggets for later on.
That's right.
Because we need them to keep listening here. So it also stars Vanessa Shaw, which this was her first movie. She was only about 4 or 5 years old. She plays Angel Bradley. You would know her from, she was in the 2006 remake of The Hills Have Eyes. She was, I guess, obviously a much younger girl in Hocus Pocus. She was...
yeah, what was it? Allison, right? Was that? She played Allison,
I think it was. She was in the movie 3:10 to Yuma. She was also in Eyes Wide Shut. I think that was Stanley Kubrick's last movie, right? Eyes Wide Shut before he passed. Yeah, she's in that. So she's actually gone on to have, quite successful career, which, you can't say much about just about anyone else in this. But and on
this
top
was
of
her first movie, I think. This was the first thing she ever was in.
Yeah, the first thing she was ever in, and best I could tell, she was probably about 4 or 5 years old. So, and she didn't really do anything for about 10 more years after this. So clearly, like, all right, that didn't work. Let's put you in school and get you a better part a little bit further down the road here.
It's like 10 years later, you're going to come up with a line different than "I got to go to the bathroom."
Yeah. Hey, considering she's 4 or 5, I guess she does about as well as you could be expected. I mean, that's a young kid. But yeah, she actually went on to some success, and that's about it as far as who directed and started it and everything. Pretty much everyone else in this, really hadn't done anything before it and didn't really do anything after it. I did notice this one thing though that Smoke, you might know or may have heard more about this or know more about this, but there was something called the video nasty panic, I guess in the UK.
Yeah, UK video nasties
that apparently they prosecuted it, and confiscated certain films, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever movies they deemed were not admissible in the UK under their current law, whether it was on videos. It had to do with video because it was after VHS and everything came into prominence. And a lot of those movies, Cannibal Holocaust and whatnot and all those, they actually went through and were released on VHS for a while in the UK. And then after the fact, I guess, when some lawmakers and politicians and everything and parents, when these movies came to their attention, then they started banning them or censoring them heavily. So if it got released, it was a lot of any gore, any type of violence of that nature would be cut out. It'd be re-released in a really truncated form, or just outright banned, depending on how bad it was, I guess. So there's a whole list of those movies from back then, and many of them have been passed uncut. A lot of them have. There might be. I'm sure there's still some that are not necessarily considered video nasties, but are not still fully uncut over there.
Now I think
a lot of them are. It's not as bad as it was back then.
Now I think this one was eventually, released there, but apparently at the time, I lifted this line straight out of an article. I think it was on Wikipedia, but it said while this film was not prosecuted for obscenity, it was seized and confiscated in the UK under Section 3 of the Obscene Publications Act of 1959. Once again, during the video nasty panic. So I thought that was a little interesting footnote that they found this one is,
considering how almost bloodless it is, which is just weird.
Yeah, well, I think they were trying to take mercy on people's viewing habits.
True. Yeah.
This was for a different type of obscenity.
You don't want
to. It's not gory. It's just bad. Just no. Let's just confiscate it and fine it if they have it. I mean, there's no need to put people through this.
This might drive them mad. Make them do PCP.
Yeah. This is an ad for pro PCP.
Maybe that's the mistake we all need to do PCP and then watch this.
Watch this movie. Yeah.
We should have been shooting up PCP under our tongues with dirty needles. IMDb, it got 3.6 out of 10 stars, which I thought was
generous.
Yeah, I didn't see how many ratings that was, but that's fairly generous considering. And I wonder whether even some of that, what percentage of those actually watched it. I think people were giving it more stars just based on the ideal, as opposed to actually seeing it. On Rotten Tomatoes, on the tomato meter, it's got not applicable, since there's not enough critical reviews of this to give it a grade. But the audience number on there was 16%. That's the only reason I mentioned it. The critics haven't even bothered, or at least since Rotten Tomatoes were a thing, right? I guess I don't know if they go back in the past and aggregate those or not. But on Rotten Tomatoes, the synopsis is, in this thriller, a family moves to a remote country home to find peace and silence. Their peace is destroyed when a homicidal maniac crashes their Thanksgiving dinner. For you, the listeners of the All-American Spook Show podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. Will, have you checked out anything lately on there to see if there's anything new or upcoming or anything?
Well, actually, I just got a new Star Wars book, with The Mandalorian out, and I've actually kind of started going back and rewatching some of the old Star Wars, Clone Wars, and with the new movie coming out. They actually just came out with a Star Wars Resistance Reborn book. So supposedly, I haven't got to listen to it yet. Literally just bought it. It's supposed to kind of pick up right after The Last Jedi, and kind of leads right up to Rise of the Skywalkers. So I'm definitely interested. I'm pretty much all about Star Wars right now. So it's going to be interesting to kind of, read a book before I go see the movie.
Well, it's all fitting with, like you said, with Disney Plus out now with The Mandalorian, and now you can catch up with Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, and all that stuff, and then the new movie coming out. So I'm sure you're not alone in, all the kind of catching up on all the Star Wars stuff. Now, I only read or listened to. No, I read a little bit of one of those books. Now it used to be like the expanded universe, and now there's like a new canon or whatever. So there's like a new line of books that are officially part of the lore. Most of those kind of take place in that time period between Return of the Jedi and Episode 7, right? I think a lot of these newer ones.
Yeah, of the ones that I only read, I think 3 or 4 of the more recent books. 3 of those was like a continuation of a story of Aftermath, kind of, like you said, picking up after Return of the Jedi, and kind of just kind of filling in a handful of years. It didn't even get close to, this new trilogy that's come out.
Well, yeah, because it's 30 years between, right? I think it's supposed to be 30 years between Episode 6 and 7, Return of the Jedi, and then...
Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of the major characters in the Aftermath books was Snap Wexley, which has a bit role in the first one. I'm blanking on the actor that played him, but
I know you're talking about.
It was the guy that was in Heroes.
Yeah, I know exactly which one you're talking about. I can't think of the actor's name either, but yeah. So yeah,
so it was like a whole story, but I'm pretty sure if he was still a teenager when those books ended. Mm-hmm. And in the movie, obviously he's a full-grown man.
So yeah, if you're into Star Wars and you want to go check that out, and obviously, horror. Obviously, we're a horror podcast, but that this all falls under the kind of the same kind of thing we're all interested in anyway. So, if you want to go check that out on Audible, you can go check out plenty of horror books. The new Stephen King book, that came out a month or so ago, that's on there, and plenty of others. So, and others we've talked about in past episodes. So, to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/spookshow. Again, that's audibletrial.com/spookshow for your free audiobook. All right, so is there anything else you guys may have dug up that I didn't mention?
No, I think we covered everything as far as all the pertinent people. I think Don Edmonds and
Jake.
Who's the angel's name again?
Vanessa Shaw.
Yeah, Vanessa Shaw.
Yeah.
Pretty much covered all the main names. Oh, and like you said, the director, Nettie Pena, which Dracula Sucks is the only other credit, but I'm pretty sure that was definitely an adult film with some major adult film stars. So I seriously doubt that was probably not the only 2 movies she directed. She might have directed some other stuff under pseudonyms.
Now I could be wrong. I don't even think she directed that though. I think she was just the editor on it. That was pretty much about the only thing that anyone would have heard of that she had anything to do with other than this. I could be wrong. Once again, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's the only thing she ever directed. This movie.
I've never heard of this. Dracula Sucks. We should watch that.
That sounds much better than Home Sweet Home.
I think I posted the poster for that on my Instagram page long years back. And that's an awesome name for a porno, by the way.
No doubt. Especially if it has nothing to do
with this movie. I only watched about 10 minutes.
That's all I needed to watch.
10? I only had 6. What would be even better if it had nothing to do with Dracula?
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll do a niche market of of horror porno, because there is that market out there.
I'm sure there is. I don't think it's as niche as you're thinking it is either.
Next on the All American Spook Show podcast, we'll review Hard Gore.
We're not the Spook
By the way,
Show
we're
anymore.
changing the name to All American Splooge.
Yeah, okay. All right, so
Splatter of a different kind. No.
I think we've put this off long enough. So here we go. All right, so Home Sweet Home from 1981. It begins with there's a guy sitting in his car listening to a radio, and then another guy walks up and he offers beer to the guy, and then he just chokes him to death. And then he just chokes him to death while he's doing that maniacal laughter. Then he gets in the car. Look, I guess he drags the guy out of the car, right? Gets in, and then sits there and does PCP. He sticks a needle, cooks it up, whatever the hell he does, and then sticks a needle under his
tongue. As the radio is saying something about it, right? I think they're saying, "Oh, this escaped mental convict, blah blah, whatever his name was, Jay." I think they called him by his name too, Jay.
Jay Jones.
Jay Jones.
And then that's when you see the Home Sweet Home tattoo on his hand. Which I thought was going to zoom into it.
Which looks more like a hand stamp, like one of those ink stamps where you just say, "Hey, I need these letters put together on a stamp," and a little ink thing, or you
maybe that was
like you're in a club or the theme park where they, I need to get back in, stamp your hand. That's what it looks like.
Maybe that was the name of the mental home that he busted out of.
It could be.
It was called Home Sweet Home, and they had him tattooed.
All right, Josh, quit trying to retcon some information.
Okay, all right. And trying to make more sense out of this than even they gave thought to. Clearly, they didn't think about it. They just stamped it on his hand and, hey, wait a minute, that's a good name for the movie.
I don't know if it was supposed to be a stamp or was it supposed to be a tattoo. I assume it was supposed to be a tattoo. It was the worst tattoo. It was worse than a Cracker Jack tattoo, but I'm guessing it's supposed to be a tattoo.
I like the vision of the dude busting open a box of King Vitamin and getting that tattoo out of it right before he comes up and chokes a dude and does PCP.
Oh, Home Sweet Home.
All right.
I need to do some PCP now.
This comes free with a bag of PCP.
So yeah,
syringe not included.
So then he takes the station wagon that he choked the dude out, and then there's this long credit scenes where he's just driving. He's just driving down the highway, in the station wagon.
Once you choke somebody out,
that was going to be the title screen was going to be his hand, right? Like home, because the music comes in, his hands on the steering wheel, Home Sweet Home. That's going to be the title screen there?
Nope.
Well, we'll find out it's not.
He's driving down the highway, and he eventually comes up to a red light and runs an old lady over as she's walking across the street. The blood splashes up on the windshield as he's laughing.
As he's laughing still, yeah. And then he doesn't even bother to just at least turn the windshield wiper on, right? He just drives around through the whole rest of the time with the bloody windshield, bloody hood.
Until he later on pulls up somewhere finally and takes a hose and washes it off. But yeah, he didn't try to wipe it off, windshield wipers, nothing. It's just laughing as he's got this huge blood stain on the windshield. So then you cut to this weird ass kid playing an electric guitar, wearing mime face paint. His name is Mistake. You think maybe you heard it wrong.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, this kid's name is Mistake, and he's being chased around by his dad, which you find out is Harold. That's Don Edmonds. Then some of the family arrives for Thanksgiving. Well, I guess you assume it's Thanksgiving. You kind of put two and two together, I guess, and. They've all arrived for a meal. Then Jay pulls up, the killer Jay, he pulls up to a trailer, that's what I just mentioned, where he takes a hose and washes the blood off the windshield.
As
you notice when he starts washing it off, nothing happens? It just stays there?
Yeah, it's because it's hard to get that Karo syrup off that easily. You have to give it a little bit more elbow grease.
Beginning to think, did they have that blood on the inside for some reason?
So yeah, right at this time, so it cuts back to the house, and then everybody just decides to stop what they're doing and have sex.
Pretty much.
I mean, there's this one couple that just arrived. They just pull over right there in the damn driveway in a wide open convertible and start, basically begin the process of screwing right there in the front seat. Meanwhile, the dad and his girlfriend, I guess, you eventually come to find out, they go into the next room as Dad's aggravated because he's been chasing Mistake around. She just takes him in there and is about to, they're about to have sex. Just randomly, well, we're making the meal. Let's all just stop and go fuck.
And up to this point, just about every scene, which there isn't a lot, but just about every scene of this movie so far, I would say it wasn't shot very well. But as soon as you get these sex scenes, all right, let's take our time.
Yeah.
Let's. This is a good angle.
Well, you know
Yeah,
why?
yeah.
Nettie
You know who
Pena.
that had to be the director's
Yeah.
prior experience with Dracula Sucks.
Don't say I never did anything for you. So then Mistake, but like so the dad and his girl are in there about to have sex, and the Mistake bust in, like her titties are hanging out, and she's not even trying to cover them up. Mistake, and they all just start chasing him because he's a fuckwad. Then two of the chicks, Linda and Gail, which I think one of those is the dad's girlfriend. I can't remember which. Doesn't matter. They leave to go get wine. Oh, and then when it cuts back to Jay cleaning the car off, so he eventually found a rag and starts like wiping the blood off. Then he looks at the rag and is just laughing.
This is laughs and tosses it,
Yeah,
right? Like,
he's just laughing at the blood.
awkwardly tosses it somewhere.
Yeah. And then goes back up to the house, because I guess he's right down the street from where this family's house is. Yeah, the geography of it's kind of weird to me, right? Like, I couldn't quite figure out where he's at in conjunction to that house and where they go and everything. The geography's weird. But so then the power, of course, goes out because they have a shitty generator or something like that, and this is commonplace. So the dad, Harold, he turns it on so they can cook peas. Now, did anyone else notice the obsession with peas in this movie?
Yeah.
Like, you got to cook the peas. Where's the pea? Like, at first they're frantic to find the peas. I guess they eventually find the peas, and then now we got to cook the peas. Get the generator on so we can cook the peas. And then when they sit down to eat, like, anybody want peas? Like, they just mention it over and over again.
Then the little girl has to use the bathroom, I'm assuming.
I got to go pee.
She's got to go pee.
So, yeah, then Harold...
Didn't Harold say something later, too, to the little girl? Like, about, she's in the kitchen. He's like, oh, how
Yeah, something
about peas. I don't remember.
Yeah, something like, have you had your peas yet? Like, I think it's eventually when they finally sit down to eat, like... God damn, these must be golden peas, man. So Harold goes to get gas, and he stopped. This was weird too. He stops it, like he sees a car broke down the side of the road. He kind of like gives it the old high, like look around, and then just starts siphoning the fucking gas out of it.
Fucking Harold.
I mean, it seems like to me, like up to this point, you figure this dude's got some money. He's got a place. He's kind of the patriarch. Why is he out siphoning gas?
There's a reason he has money, Josh.
I guess. He just stops everything and starts siphoning gas, and then like he ain't done. He goes back, goes under the hood of the car. Like I don't even know what the hell he's trying to do. Steal the battery? I don't know. He's fucking
battery. Yeah.
He's
trying to steal the battery.
And then all of a sudden, Jay just jumps out of nowhere on top of the hood.
In fact, I think the line was, didn't he say something like, "Daddy needs a new pair of shoes, but he'll settle for a battery"?
Yeah,
I think that was the line.
And then as he's doing this, he's fumbling around under there. Jay jumps out of the woods and just jumps right on top of the hood and kills his ass. Just crushes him. Right there.
Again, probably one of the best moments of the movie.
Yeah. That's the highlights, folks. It doesn't go didn't go much
We've had
better than
about
that.
3 highlights, at least for me. It was the radio and him shooting the PCP under the tongue.
Yeah.
Well, actually, rewind a little bit back to when the guy asks him if he wants a beer and he pulls him out and strangles him.
And just chokes him to death.
He chokes him to death, yeah. And then running over the lady at the stoplight, which is just horribly bad editing and everything in that.
Yeah, well.
And then up to this point, yeah. That's the 3 highlights. From this so far.
So then it cuts back to them at the house, and Mistake does magic for Angel. He the little girl, her name's Angel, and he's doing magic for that's part of his gig too. So not only does he runs around like acting like a damn idiot, he's wearing mime makeup, and he has an electric guitar and an amp with him at all times, and he can perform magic.
And horrible riffs, just horrible riffs. If you're gonna do that, at least have some decent riffs.
Oh yeah, I think the best thing that he done in this entire movie was those magic tricks.
Yeah.
I think I probably mentioned about his character, which I don't know where the hell his character came from, but I can only imagine it was from that guy Don Edmonds who produced this movie as well as playing Harold. He directed, as we mentioned, Ilsa She Wolf of the SF, but he also made a movie in 1980 called Terror on Tour, which was like a rocksploitation, kind of gets lumped in with the heavy metal horror movies like Trick or Treat and Rocktober Blood, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. But there was a band in there called the Clowns, and they all wore this clown makeup, played electric guitars and all that stuff, and then it was a slasher movie type deal too. So I can only assume that he said, "Hey, I got this idea. Why don't work for Terror on Tour? Why don't we put this guy in some clown mime paint and run around with electric guitar and annoy people. So that's the only thing. The only way I can explain Mystake's character.
Plus,
well, hey, Kiss is big right now. Let's.
Yeah, that's it, and that's why he did the Terror on Tour thing too. I think was he had the clown. They called him the Clowns, and he kind of had clown makeup, but I definitely think it was more of a direct Kiss ripoff than anything else.
Plus, wasn't there some characters in the Warriors that kind of had a similar type of look too?
True, yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe,
with the white face.
Yeah, I guess once again we're over thinking what the what the process was here, but I'm sure any of those things could have went into the decision to do it. But yeah, so he's doing magic for the little girl Angel, and then you see Jay kind of looking in the window. He's outside lurking around, and he cuts the phone line. And then it cuts to Linda and Gail. They're lost. They don't know where the hell they're at. For whatever reason, they went down the street to get wine, and they're lost, even though they live there.
Yeah.
Then the kind of redneck dude, Wayne, he leaves to go check on because by this point, once again, Harold had left to go get the gas or whatever and got crushed to death. So Wayne left to go check on Harold and to see where Linda and Gail went. And he comes upon he gets in the car, right? And then Jay is sitting in the back seat and kills him. Now, how does he kill him though? I couldn't quite make that. Like, did he kind of like have a rope and kind of choke him out? Did he slice his throat? I couldn't quite tell exactly how he killed him.
I thought he cut his throat, but yeah, I mean,
I remember there blood and something with his throat, but I couldn't tell whether he had just like choked him out and cut his throat or had just cut it with a knife. Who cares? He's dead. So yeah, he's sitting in the back seat, kills that dude, and then Scott and Jennifer, who are kind of like the main couple here in the movie now, now that the few people have died, they go off the fuck. They go to like his little apartment that he rents from the dude or something, right? I guess that's what the situation is here. Is that dude rents an apartment from Harold, like upstairs or something like that? Yeah. So they go up there to go get it on, and meanwhile they just leave everyone else to whatever the hell's going on here, even the little girl, right?
Yeah.
We'll leave this little girl with a guy named Mistake.
Yeah.
Mistake. Go wrong.
Mistake and this random Mexican chick that the redneck dude brought. They're good. They're clearly hitting on each other over here in the corner. No one's really watching the little girl. Let's go fuck. So now you cut back to Linda and Gail, their little escapades of being lost. They get pulled by the cops, and then they kind of just flash some tit and get out of it. So then, like, as they're ready to pull off, the car won't start, and then they have to walk. They gave up on the car real quick, too. It's like one crank. Ah, shit, well, it's dead. Let's hoof it.
It's a horror movie. We know it's not going to start. Fuck it, we're just going to walk.
If they were that cognizant of what situation they were in, they wouldn't have got out of that car. So they eventually, like, I guess they come back down from fucking, and they're like, "Where's Angel at?" I don't know. Let's look around. And then it cuts to like you hear some noise or something like that, and then they go into where they were eating the meal, and you see two legs sticking out from underneath the table. Like, oh my God, Angel's dead. And then they just pull the thing back, and she's sitting there eating. Oh, Angel. Wonk, 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 wonk. So then...
these peas are great. You're right.
I sure do love these peas. Home Sweet Home, brought to you by Lejour Peas.
And PCP.
Find them in your grocer's freezer.
And your King Vitamin.
Yeah. That's two mentions of King Vitamin that have...
I'm sure they'll love that advertisement there.
Yeah, the people
all right, we do not give out PCP and syringes in King Vitamin.
If King Vitamin is still a thing, they're filing paperwork on us right now. So
I'm just happy for the recognition. Thank you.
So we're back to Jay the Killer now. He finally sneaks up on Linda and Gail as they're walking around the woods in the pitch dark, and you can barely tell what the hell's going on while you're watching this. He attacks Linda and Gail and then just kills Gail on a rock. Like, I guess he just tosses her down. She hits her head on a rock. She's dead.
Looks like she just goes to sleep on a pillow, kind of.
Basically, like she just kind of slowly lands over, like, eyes open. He chases Linda. Like, I'm making this seem quick, but this is a long ass scene to me. Like, he's chasing Linda.
That's one of the things I was mentioning that makes this movie drag and feel like it's twice as long as it is.
Yeah,
is these scenes of just random walking for no reason.
Trust me, I'm hitting the highlights here. I'm skipping through a lot of like a film here.
I don't know.
Highlights, context.
Let's call them lights.
There's some things. So he's chasing Linda through the woods. This takes like 10 minutes, it feels like. He finally takes that wine bottle. Remember they went out to find wine? He like busts a wine bottle on a tree or something and he kills her with it. So then whoever's left there at the house, they finally get to sit down and eat the peas. Because I think something else is said about the damn peas. Then Mistake spills some food on Maria. Like he's trying to serve her food and he spills some shit on her. So he takes her out. He takes her out to go help her, like, clean up or whatever. As she's in the bathroom, like cleaning up, she looks over and sees Linda's body. And then Jay is in there. He grabs a hold of her and holds a knife to her when Mistake comes in. Eventually, they kind of go out and he's begging her, like, please don't hurt her, don't hurt her. Let her
I'll
go.
do magic for you.
Yeah.
I'll play electric guitar for you. No, kid, fuck that.
I'll do all these things that annoy every human being. You like these, huh? You PCP fool maniac. You're going to love these things, right? So then he eventually stabs her anyways, and then he says women are no good or something like that. And then he starts chasing Mistake around, and then Jay electrocutes Mistake with the guitar. I don't even remember how exactly this happened.
I guess that cord that was clearly coated in rubber still or whatever, that he pulled him up there with, and he shocked him with that. Even though it wasn't anything loose at all. Mm-hmm. It was just a cord sitting there, I think.
Well, he killed the most entertaining character of the movie here, right?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. He's comic relief, I guess, if you find that funny. Look, I'm grasping at straws here. Play along.
Okay.
We're trying to help out the reputation of Nettie Pena here.
I just keep feeling like we should have watched Dracula Sucks instead.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the 10 minutes that I watched.
That first 10 minutes
I didn't even get to Dracula. Is there Dracula even in this movie?
That first 10 minutes of 70s Bush is all I saw.
Hey, wasn't this movie written by a Bush?
Yeah, well, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
6 degrees of separation and all. So then Scott, the main dude, I guess, left now that isn't dead. He goes out to get wood, and Jennifer puts Angel. This time he's actually not, he's not DTF. He's just going out to actually get wood. And then Jennifer puts Angel to bed, and while he's out hunting for wood, he finds Maria dead, and he instantly thinks Mistake did it. And then he goes in and tells Jennifer this, and she's very calm about the whole thing, like no reaction whatsoever. Like, wow, well, he's a weird kid. I never saw it in him, but. And
then Angel, I think, says, "I gotta pee."
He's just like, "No, man, I just found a dead fucking body outside, and you're just nonchalant. You want some more peas?"
Oh dear God, no. No, dear God.
Oh, dear God. What is it? What is it? There's still more peas left. All right, so of course the power goes out right after this. And then there's literally, I'm not even joking here, 10 minutes of Scott getting up and down checking to make sure the doors are locked. Yeah. Am I exaggerating here?
Had that hour and 25-minute running time out again.
Yeah, it's like he gets up, not the windows and doors are good. I don't know. I'm still worried about it. He gets back up and checks again. What the fuck is going on here?
And after 10 minutes, you know what? There's this one door.
And he's looking for candles and stuff. There's a different reason for him to get up every time. And every time he comes back, she's like, "Where were you? I was so worried." Like, bitch, I was just in the next room checking the door. Remember I told you?
This house has an open floor plan, damn it. You can see me.
It's a good, I'm not even exaggerating, it's a good 10 minutes of this before anything happens. Because there's almost a sense like Jay's walking, he's like lurking in the shadows. He's gonna jump out. No, he just went to go get some candles. That you just watched that. So then eventually, once again, Angel has to go to the bathroom. So Scott takes her to the bathroom. Jennifer just stays back to stoke the fire. Then Jay finally jumps out and attacks. So they kind of tussle around. Jennifer, he's tussling around with Scott because Scott comes back in the room. Jennifer eventually stabs Jay in the back. Like she grabs a knife off the table or the counter or wherever the hell, and she stabs him in the back with it. And then they take off running and leave the little girl. Like, right, Scott and Jennifer just fucking, he's dead. You know, we stabbed him, we got him. And then they just run, left her for dead. Eventually, like, they get, you know, so far away. It's like, oh, shit, Angel, right? So Scott goes back, and then Jay grabs him through the window. Like, busts out of the window and grabs a hold of him and then slices his throat and laughs. Like the and then she takes
with the
off.
knife still in his back, which he has in his back for the next 25 minutes.
Yeah, that knife doesn't come out. So she takes off running. Jay chases her, and then she faints. I don't know what the hell happens here. Like, I guess he catches up to her. She faints.
Just faints.
Yeah, like she's hiding or something, like up in the room, and then she just like passes out. Next morning, the cops come up on the, you know, they're coming down the driveway or whatever, and then they find Gail dead on the rock. Remember, she's asleep on the rock there. They find her. Then Jennifer eventually comes out of hiding. She's been hiding all night. The sun's up, and then Jay grabs her, and the knife is still in his back. The cop,
she just jumps. Like, he's just been waiting up on the roof, the tree, whatever the hell, wherever he was for this whole night.
With that knife in his back.
You know, he could have killed her 1,000 times on the bed when she had passed out. But he hides somewhere and then just decides to jump down at her.
Or he could have easily died in these hours that passed because he's still got a knife stuck in his back. But he comes jumping out of nowhere and grabs her.
It's a hell of a drug.
I guess. I need to try some of this PCP. Home Sweet Home, brought to you by the PCP Council. And Leisure Peas. So yeah, he jumps out, knife still in his back. He grabs a hold of her, and then the cops show up. And they shoot him 3 times. Then, as it turns out, the cops had found Angel, like, wandering down the side of the road. So, like, we're not going to say exactly how this happened. I guess at some point in that tussle, she just takes off running. And then the cops, you know, conveniently find her walking down the side of the road. She's all right. And she's in the back of the car, and Jennifer gets in there with her, like, oh, thank God you're okay. Oh, God. Meanwhile, Angel, she'd be like, what the fuck, bitch? You ran off and left me with that motherfucker.
Got any peas?
I didn't get enough of the peas. Can I have some? Use the bathroom too. So then, that's the penultimate moment, or the ultimate moment, I guess, whatever we built up to, is that the cops have shot him. He's laying on the ground. His eyes open back up, and then the credits. So there you go. That is our Thanksgiving extravaganza. Home Sweet Home from 1981. Will,
Speaking of turkeys.
Yeah. Will, where you at on the old 0 to 5 star rating here?
I'm going to give it a 5.
What?
I'm sorry. 0.5.
Oh, okay. 5.5. That's crazy. Bonus points for suck. So you really going?
Yeah.
You going a half star?
Yeah, no. It was there. That's about all I got on that one.
Well, yeah, I'll give you that. It was it was a movie, said Siskel and Ebert.
Said Willie.
So a half a star. Smoke, where are you landing on it?
I'm going with 1.5 on it. I do get some entertainment value out of it. I mean, I can laugh at it. Certain scenes. I'll tell you what would have made it better for me. And I'm not even talking about the movie itself being better. All they would have had to do was put in a hell of a lot more slasher, gore in this thing. And that would have ramped it up just a little bit more for me. But as it is, I'm going with a 1.5. I'm
going to land right in between you both. I'm going to give it 1 star. Unless I start doing PCP, I don't see myself sitting down and watching this movie again. And even if I'm doing PCP, hopefully I can find something better than this to watch.
So guys, guess what I got?
All right. Hey, Mom's making stovetop. You got the PCP? Yeah, there's not really much more to say about it. I mean, like, there is some, entertainment value in it. I mean, it's funny, knowing what you know about the dude Jake, right? That what he went on to be after this is pretty funny. And that there was at least one successful person out of this, and the little girl, Vanessa Shaw, even though she's only 4 or 5 years old, but she's terrible in this. But, you got to start somewhere, and she was literally her first gig, and she was very small. So I guess it's a miracle you got even that much out of her. Just us having fun with it is about as much fun as I had with it, right? Just us talking about it. I didn't have this much fun watching it.
I can tell you. One of those movies too, where you get a 6-pack or a 12-pack or a 24-pack, whatever.
Yeah.
and
PCP.
Just laugh out. Yeah, or PCP.
Hard drugs. So overall, I don't think we recommend it. But if This is one of not very many Thanksgiving movies, so if you're in the mood to watch something festive around the holiday, this is something you can plug in on YouTube and watch.
Or you could watch literally anything else on YouTube.
How about you just go watch Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving or,
I'll tell you one thing, though. I'd rather watch this movie 5 or 6 or 7 more times than watch something like the Poltergeist remaking.
Now, I've never seen it, but I'm sure. But at least that's like on purpose, like schlocky, right? Like, that's a trauma thing, isn't it?
No, the Poltergeist? No, not Poltergeist. Poltergeist.
Oh, what?
The remake of Poltergeist.
Oh, the remake. Okay, well, I haven't seen the remake.
Not the original. Yeah, you're not missing it.
Yeah.
If you don't see that.
Well, at least this one.
And that's not even an exaggeration there, I don't think. I made the mistake of seeing that thing in the theater. I'm like, I don't even know why. Yeah, you got. I'm not even terribly against all remakes or anything. But my God.
Well, look,
it's so bad if I'd rather watch Home Sweet Home 10 more times than watch that.
Wow. Look, if it sucks, it sucks. You call them as you see them, right? So I think by far overall, this is our lowest rated movie we've watched on any episode so far. So our second year of existence is off to a rousing start. So we're gonna continue that trend. We're gonna continue that trend on the next episode. We're going to watch a movie called Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale from 2010. The IMDb synopsis for this movie is, in the depths of the Corvatanturi Mountains, 486 meters deep, lies the closest ever guarded secret of Christmas. The time has come to dig it up. This Christmas, everyone will believe in Santa Claus. So, obviously, as you can see, we're going to be talking Christmas in our next episode. You can go watch this movie on Hulu, at least as of the recording of this podcast. You can go on Hulu and watch this movie. And it might be available in some other places, but we know it's there. So, go check it out before the next episode. So, get into the Christmas spirit, guys. All right, so I guess if there's nothing else to say about Home Sweet Home, I guess we'll go ahead and take it home. So for Will and for the Professor Smoke,
Motley Crue song.
We probably would have gotten more enjoyment out of just watching that video 42 times.
It wouldn't have felt as long, even if we had watched it 42 times in a row. It still wouldn't have felt as long as this movie.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like research? The Body by Jake guy went through and just started watching wrestling and Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
I think it's the other way around. Because I'm pretty sure this was like way before Jim Neidhart, so or at least around the same time. So maybe that's where Neidhart got the maniacal laugh from. His favorite movie was Home Sweet Home. All right, so for Will and the Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are the All American Spook Show podcast, and we will see you next time.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.